They fined me $75,000 for building on land I own because one woman didn't get her way. She wanted my property for her luxury retreat, and when I beat her to it, she declared war. What followed? Drones, lies, bulldozers, and, honestly, the wildest HOA battle you'll ever hear. I knew the second I stepped onto that hillside plot. This was it, my future, and apparently my battleground. See, the land wasn't just beautiful. It was a canvas, rolling green slopes flanked by old oaks, a panoramic lake view on the other side. When the wind kicked up just right, you'd get this mix of pine, earth, and water, like the world was whispering, "This is yours now." It felt sacred. It was mine. I bought it outright. No mortgage, no debt, no chains. Best part? It wasn't part of any HOA. I'd had my fill of grown adults arguing over mailbox colors and fence heights, like they were arguing constitutional law. Not this time. This time it was just me, my land, and the house I'd dreamed about since I was in my 20s. Hell, I already had the plans drawn. Picture this: a modern farmhouse with steel and wood accents, giant sliding glass walls, an infinity pool hanging over the lake, Japanese garden with a koi pond, and for the kids, a treehouse straight out of a movie, rope bridge, lookout tower, the works. I wasn't building a house. I was building a legacy. Permits? Cleared. Soil? Tested. Utilities? Scheduled. I did everything by the book, even when I technically didn't have to. Maybe that's the architect in me: structure, balance, doing it right. For the first few weeks, everything was perfect. Excavation crews set up, foundation dug. Every morning I'd drive up with my coffee, watching the progress like a kid with a brand new Lego set. My kids would race around the lot, shouting out where they wanted the trampoline, fighting over who got the top bunk in the treehouse. We were making something real, together. Then, Monday morning, everything changed. Silver SUV rolls in, crunching gravel like it's entitled. Out steps this woman in her 50s, platinum blonde bob, sunglasses bigger than her ego, clipboard like a weapon. I should have run. She strutted past the front loader like she owned the place. No hello. No small talk. Just, "Who gave you approval for this structure?" I blinked, genuinely confused. "Sorry. Who are you?" "Karen Miller, president of the Lake View Heights HOA." She flashed a badge like she was FBI. "This construction isn't compliant with community visual guidelines. And that treehouse violates perimeter regulations for shared zones." She waved at my land like her being there somehow made it communal. I tried to keep it together. "This land isn't part of your HOA. I checked before I bought it. I made damn sure." Her mouth twitched. "That may be what you think, but adjacency requires consideration, especially when your build impacts our property values." I actually laughed. "Lady, with all due respect, I could put up a neon pink circus tent here, and there's nothing your HOA can say about it. This is private land." Her eyes narrowed. "We'll see about that." And off she went. No threats, just that movie villain exit line. I told myself she was just blowing smoke. There's always one, right? The next day, my materials delivery was delayed. No explanation. County inspector called to say someone anonymously reported my construction as unauthorized. Then, a week later, a stop work notice showed up on my fence and signed. Completely unofficial. The county confirmed it was fake. A few days after that, I get a certified letter from Lake View Heights HOA. Claims I'm in violation of their guidelines and owe them a $75,000 fine for a non-compliant structure. That was when it hit me. This wasn't about rules or property values. It was personal. Karen wanted my land, and she was furious I got it first. I stood there, letter in one hand, looking out over my unfinished foundation, realizing she had no idea what kind of fight she just started. The week after that letter was a crash course in suburban guerrilla warfare. At first, I thought it was just absurd. Who finds someone $75,000 with no jurisdiction? Like a neighbor giving you a parking ticket for your own driveway. But it didn't let up. 2 days later, my lumber delivery was canceled. The driver called me from a gas station, frustrated. "Your address is blacklisted," he said. Blacklisted? Like I was running a drug cartel. Not building a house with a swing set. Every company I hired had been contacted anonymously. Safety concerns, permits, environmental violations. It was a pressure campaign. That night, I came home to a flyer zip tied to my fence. Unapproved structure detected. Community integrity at risk. Signed, concerned citizens of Lakeview Heights. Concern my ass. Then came the drones. Yeah, drones, hovering over my lot. At first we joked, maybe Karen was making a Netflix doc called People with Backbones. But it got creepy. One drone nearly hit a contractor, who packed up and left, muttering about psycho neighborhoods. I set up motion cameras, caught Karen's SUV circling, even caught someone poking around at 3 a.m. with a flashlight. Couldn't see the face, but the posture was pure Karen, confident, entitled, oblivious. That's when I brought in my lawyer, Sandra Martinez, sharp, cool under fire, the type who chews up clipboard warriors for breakfast. She looked at the fake fine letter and said, "This isn't just bluffing, it's organized harassment. We need to push back." So we sent a cease and desist, demanded the HOA back off or face legal action. But Karen wasn't done. That weekend, I'm planting saplings with my daughter, planting the garden, when a bulldozer lumbers up the access road. Driver holds up a clipboard. Got a work order from Lakeview HOA. Supposed to reclaim misused space. I laughed. This isn't their jurisdiction. He shrugged. I just clear what they mark on the map. I started filming. He backed off, called the sheriff, handed over everything. Drone footage, fake letters, all of it. The deputy was sympathetic. These HOA types can get creative, but this one's getting sloppy. That night, I got a voicemail. Karen, trying to sound calm, but you could hear the fury. You could have worked with us. Now we'll escalate. I played it for Sandra. We both knew this was about to get ugly. But what Karen didn't know, I'd reinforced every inch of my boundaries, literal and legal. Time to counterattack. We filed an official harassment complaint with the county. Sent certified letters and every bit of evidence, deed, zoning maps, property tax records, drone footage, to the HOA, city planning, county commissioner, and the sheriff. This was going public. 3 days later, police showed up on site. HOA had reported environmental violations, unauthorized structures, unsafe conditions, the works. I just handed them my thick folder of stamped, signed permits. The officers called it in, handed back my folder, and said, "You're clean. HOA overreach is getting ridiculous." I thanked them, but the whole thing left a bad taste. That afternoon, Karen rolled in, smug as a cat. "So all clear." I grinned. Turns out, doing things legally works. She drove off, lips pressed tight. Next morning, a dead squirrel nailed to my mailbox, real. Mature. Sandra was fuming, textbook intimidation. We logged every incident, installed more cameras, security lights. Caught someone in a reflective vest snooping around. Turned out to be an inspector, hired by the HOA. Sheriff took it seriously this time. A detective came, reviewed the footage, said, "Looks like a pattern of harassment." I put up a giant sign facing the Lakeview entrance. Private property, not affiliated with HOA. Unauthorized access will be prosecuted. Like a war banner. Message sent. That night, I got an email from Karen. No subject, just a PDF, official notice of lien, HOA enforcement action, $75,000 again. Sandra took one look and said, "She's crossed into real estate fraud." We filed a formal complaint, got the lien voided and flagged as fraudulent. But we didn't stop there. Sandra started digging into Karen's activities as HOA president. And here's the twist. Turns out Karen had been planning to buy my land through a shell LLC, turn it into a private retreat for HOA residents. Spa pods, yoga domes, luxury stuff. She'd even pitched it to the board. The only thing that stopped her, I bought the lot first. She'd been in escrow. When my offer went through, we learned all this from a former board member, Craig, who reached out, worried about what was happening. He had receipts. Karen had spent HOA funds on surveillance, drone rentals, and even a PI to dig into my background. With all this, Sandra went nuclear, filed a multi-pronged lawsuit: harassment, real estate fraud, defamation, unlawful surveillance. $1 million in damages. We sent it to local media, state HOA committees, city council. Suddenly, the HOA board imploded. Resignations, emergency meetings, chaos. At the city development hearing, we laid it all out: evidence, affidavits, financials. An official stood up. "For the record, This property is not and has never been under HOA jurisdiction. All HOA actions here are invalid. Mike. Drop. Soon after, the DA's office opened an investigation. Court was surreal. Karen sat 2 tables away, looking like her jaw might snap. Her lawyer tried to spin it as a misunderstanding. She just wanted what was best for the community. The judge didn't buy it. You placed a fraudulent lien, trespassed, misused HOA funds. This is systemic abuse. She slammed the gavel. All counts in my favor. Damages, $1 million from the HOA, $200,000 personally from Karen, and 2 years in county jail for attempted fraud. Karen erupted, screaming about how she built the neighborhood, how everyone would regret this. Bailiffs had to drag her out. As the doors shut behind her, it felt like a gust of clean air swept through the room. The war was over. The next morning, I went out to my land before sunrise. Just me, a thermos of coffee, and the promise of peace. No tension, no drama. My boots hit gravel, and, for the first time, I felt like I wasn't trespassing on my own dream. Contractors came. Back. The build finished fast. Foundation, deck, pool, treehouse. My kids helped stain the railings, laughing about how it looked like something out of a video game. Neighbors stopped by with pies and six-packs, telling me they'd been waiting for someone to do what I did. The new HOA board, totally reformed, voted to remove Karen for good. Donna, the new president, brought me an official apology. Hope. We moved in midsummer. No ceremony, just pizza on the floor and kids claiming rooms. My wife stood on the back deck, eyes wet, whispering, "We actually did it." Yeah, we did. 3 months. Later, a letter arrived. No return address, just a single line. Enjoy it while it lasts. Signed, K. I laughed. Karen had moved out. Rumor was she tried to join another HOA in Arizona and got blocked after someone dug up our court records. I might have sent the link myself, who knows. Meanwhile, life just kept getting better. My daughter painted galaxy murals in the treehouse. My son planted a corn patch. Neighbors came over for cookouts. The new board held actual public meetings, even ran a Halloween contest without citing a single violation. Progress. Someone asked if I missed the drama. I said, I missed the adrenaline, not the crazy. Sandra, who showed up with her girlfriend and a bottle of wine, raised a glass to legally approved chaos. She said, I added, to not going to prison. Everyone laughed. That night, I climbed up to the treehouse, fairy lights glowing, lake shimmering, air still. It didn't feel like a victory, it felt like home. Before I went back inside, I noticed a small hand-painted plaque on the railing. My daughter had made it. It read, "No Karens allowed." Fair enough. So tell me, where do you draw the line? Between order and overreach? Between community and control? If you've ever stood up for what's right, no matter how small, drop your story in the comments. Let's hear about your battles, your wins, your wildest HOA horror tales. And if you ever find yourself fighting for your home, just remember, you're not alone.